Hello and welcome. So our form looks pretty much how we want it to look, but we need it to be a bit more functional. We have the login and sign up toggle all set and ready to go. We need to be able to capture what's written in the email address and the password and capture the on-click event of pressing this login button. I'm just going to inspect and then go over to the console. There are hotkeys as well to do that sort of thing, and it's up here if you need to get to your console as well. So here we are in the console, and that's where we're going to see the data being persisted in our application. So let's head over into our application now into auth.js. That's an SRC auth page. Just make sure you have built the node modules folder. If you're starting right from here, just type in yarn, you'll build that node modules folder and you could get started with yarn start. I'm already there, so I'm not going to do any of those things. What we're going to do is another state hook, like this useState hook that we did here. We're going to do a state hook that is the exact same thing, but we want to do an entire form rather than one piece at a time. This only updates register. Now, what we're going to update here is going to be email and password, and you can continue this to do 100 other things, address, whatever else you need, but here's how it works. So we're going to do the same type of hook, const, and we're going to call it formData, then comma, set formData. That's how these all should look. The set and then the name of the const that you're setting is usually your best bet. And that's going to equal useState. Now in that useState, it's not just going to be this. We're going to open an object and we're going to use a few things from the state. It's going to be email. We defined email in the state just to be an empty string, and it's going to be password. And we'll define that in the state to just be an empty string. And the first thing I'm going to do is destructure this from formData. Right now, to enter email, we'll have to type in formData.email. I'd rather type const, then open up an object, just type in email and password, and equals formData. And now every time that we type in email or password, it's going to mean formData.email. We destructured those things from here. Now we have those two values, and those values are important, and we'll assign it in our JSX in a bit, but first I want to write the function that will update this here. So we're going to do this onChange function in both the email and the password. So just start with const onChange. Now that will take in E. E is the event. There's a lot attached to the event, and we need some of it when we do things this way. So we'll type in set formData, because that's what we need in order to set the formData, but open up an object again. The first thing to put in there is ... It's a spread operator, and you want to spread the formData that's already in there, and make sure that's lowercase. So whatever's there is going to stay there. Then we will comma. Now open up an array and type in e.target.name. Now what is e.target.name? Let's go down to our email and take a look at that. So in our input text for email, the type is email, the name is email. So this is saying whatever's in the formData, keep it there. And then e.target.name, which in that case would be email. And what do we want to set that to? e.target.value. To walk through that just one more time, e.target.name in that case is email, and the e.target.value will be anything that you type into the email box there. Now in the case that it's password, the name will be password and the value will be anything you type into the password box. So we could use this in two different areas, and that's something that we want. Now I want to put this into my app. I'm going to save it and then move down and start using the email and the password. Now down here we have input text email. We went all the way down to name email. Now after name email, we want to assign a value. The value is going to equal email. And that's what we pulled out of this statement up here from formData. So our value is email. Now let's move on from there, and going to have an onChange, and that is going to be very simple for us. All it is E, that's the event, and fat arrow function onChange, and we pass it E. Now it gets the event into the onChange up here, and it takes the data from the event, e.target, e.target, and we move from there to be able to persist the data. So all we need to do here is just take these two, copy them, after password, paste them in, change this to password, and everything is all set and it should work. Come up to the top and right under formData, I'd like you just to write console.log formData. Now in this console, we should see the form, and we do right away. Here we are, email and password. Now if I type anything into the password, something maybe like password, you can see that it is stored in our app. It says password here. Same thing with email. I'll just type in there mail, and you could see that email, the value is now mail, and the password, the value is now password. So we are persisting that data. And now when we click login, nothing happens. Oh, and it is telling me that my form is wrong. Let me mail@mail.com. And you can see it just resets the form. And that's the normal behavior, and nothing is happening when you press login except for the reload of the page. So let's head back into our code and start working on that. So what is happening when we submit this form? What's happening is the default behavior of reloading the page, and we don't want that. So I want to make a constant I'm going to call onSubmit and equal that to E, that's the event, we need that. Now we want to prevent the default. So E.prevent, capital D in default, and it's a function. So once we do that, it should no longer reload the page, and that is important. And then just console.log button clicked, so we know that this is working properly. All right, so we'll save that. We'll take this onSubmit right here, and we want to put it in the form. We don't want to put it on the button, but we want to put it in the form itself. So here is the form. Now, the form has a value called onSubmit. It's going to equal E, fat arrow function, over to onSubmit, and we're going to pass it E again, the event. We'll save that, and let's take a look at what happened here. We need to type something into the email address and password because it's being validated by our inputs here. You can see our input says that it has to be a type of email, and this has to be a type of password. And the only other thing I want to do on password, just to do some more validation, I want to come just right after name, just type in min length. And that's the minimum amount of characters that need to be in here for the form to be submitted. And I'm just going to make that 8 characters. So we'll type in a random email address, a@a.com, and a password that's at least 8 letters, which I'm using password for. And when we click login, we're expecting the form to look the same. And down here, we want to see that the button was clicked. So we see we have our button clicked and the page did not reload. We could enter in emails, we could enter in passwords, we could change the value up here from login to sign up, and that's our last problem. Now we have sign up highlighted, but we have login written in this box down here. So let's quickly fix that one. That's a pretty easy fix. It's just like our register class and login class. We can even call it a class if you want. I'd rather just call it const button name, let's say button text. So we just want to return 2 different strings that could go into this. If register, so if register is true, so the value there should be sign up or register, whatever you'd like to write. I'm going to write sign up. But if it's not register, so if register is false, we want the value to be log in. That's the string we want to pass into button text. Take button text, and at the bottom on this button where you have a value of login, delete that, open up an object, and put in button text. Now we have login and login down here. Now when we click sign up, we have sign up and sign up down here. We have our form fully working, and we need to hop in to the back end and start making a database to collect some information so that we could properly authenticate users. So follow me along to that video where we'll get started with MongoDB and Mongoose and setting ourselves up a node server. And if you're new to Node.js or MongoDB or Mongoose, we're going to step through every bit of it. So don't worry too much. Just follow me to that next video and we'll walk through how to set everything up. And we can start up the authentication process. Great job on this one, and I'll see you on the next one.